Toastmasters, talking about the officer roles and the DCP program, which is the Distinguished Club Program, is one of the key ways how Toastmasters can transform your lives, besides the speaking abilities. This is where the leadership side of Toastmaster comes to the personal level. When you look at it from the perspective of what does a club do, you realize that the club cannot really do much without having dedicated people who carry the business of the club. And the officers are this select group of people who do the club's business. Let it be the administrative things, let it be the executive things, deciding on what the club is going to do. For example, this meeting tonight, that we have this special celebratory building that is the result of officers deciding, why don't we do a celebratory meeting, and they carry through with their idea. So I would like to hand out some handouts. Somebody could help me? Yeah. And I will try to combine two major topics, one of them being the officer roles and the other one is being the DCP, and kind of make sense of both of them. So if you look at the club as an entity and something that needs to be driven, you realize that you need the structure of officers. So how many roles do you think there could be for officers? So how many of you are officers? Raise your hands. Okay, so you already know that. Those of you who are not officers, a club runs on 7 people strong team of officers. Actually, there could be an 8th one if you are using the past president as an officer role, which is recognized as a honest-to-goodness role, and actually the past president is responsible for the election of the future set of officers. So that is like the district conference, the former district governor would decide on who is eligible to vote, manning the credentials desk. The former president will decide on how the election is going to be run. At minimum, you need 3 officers to run a club. These 3 officers has to be a president, has to be 1 vice president, and the secretary or the treasurer. The other officer roles can be taken on even by the same officers. So you could have the president and the sergeant at arms being the same person, or the vice president of membership and secretary the same person, and so on. But you have to have at least 3 different individuals. Sometimes clubs have difficult times and they reduce in numbers, and they have to be a little bit more vigilant to trying to do the club's business so the club will actually survive. As you would think, the club survival is a very important thing from looking above clubs. Toastmasters International keeps tab on 4 clubs. Your club is represented by a number. The club number. Do you know your club's number? One knows. The rest of you? I'm member to 4 clubs. And I do know 4 clubs number. 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 4, 3. That's this club.
I told you he was a guru.
So immediately above the club level, there is the area level. And the area governor might drop in and pay a visit. And if you don't do something right, then they might very kindly give suggestions how you can correct your ways. And if you're doing something right, you'll be the first one to come in and praise you. Take your word all over town. At the higher level, above the area, there is the division. The division governor is overseeing the group of area governors. And then even higher, there's the district. We belong to District 40, and there's a conference coming up in April that this is going to talk about later. So, how does this whole thing work with the officers? Why would someone decide, I would like to be an officer of this club? This is so glamorous. Do you like to do thankless jobs?
It's part of the way you advance in Toastmasters, for instance, confident leader.
That is true. So that would be one way to look at it. That in order to advance in the program, you have to take on certain roles and responsibilities, and being an officer is one of them.
Want the club to be better, you have to.
Well, that's an interesting point. Yes, we would like to make the club better, but here's the big question. In order to be an officer, do you have to be a proven good officer, or you could be anybody? And that's the point, that the Toastmasters program is structured in a way that from manuals and talking to other people or sucking information from whatever source you can build up your expertise and go learn as you go with the different assignments that you would choose. I would like to distinguish between 3 different levels. Why would you want to be an officer? One of them would be you want to do it for yourself because you want to advance in the program. You know that you have some challenges in leadership and maybe that will help you to get better. And that would be a good enough reason, but there would be another part to it. What can you do to help the club and help the members? And that would be some kind of a calling, that you know that you are good with certain tasks that the club could benefit from. If you're good with details, you are dependable, you are reliable, you have good people skills, you have good communication skills already. You can put together a flyer or some kind of a PR package. That would be a good way to benefit your club. And there is another level, and that would be an even higher perspective, trying to see how your activity within the club will go beyond. So when you take on district roles, you become an area governor or you become a division governor, whatever you do, it's going to affect the club and also make a difference in the bigger organization. So I would like to keep sight of that for everybody, but when you decide to join the ranks of officers, that is not just for you, it is for everybody. And you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be willing to take on the responsibility and be dependable. That's all that we can ask. You don't get paid for this, and it's only on your word what you are doing. So, what are the sources of learning as an officer? And I quickly get into the various roles. I have more handouts. This is what the Toastmasters International website has when you enter officer roles. It is not very much, but you actually going to get a manual once you become an officer. And that manual will give you all the information that you need to know. So it starts with the president. The president is the one who is the picture of the personification of the club to the outside world. Oh, that's good. The president should know where the club is going, where it came from, know a little bit of the history, and set the tone for the whole club. But the president cannot do it alone. So the president calls on the help of the vice president of membership, vice president of public relations, and the vice president of education. Education is the key thing. You need more?
Yes.
Go. Some from this side. There. The education vice president is probably the brain of the whole club, because they are the ones who know the program in and out. And they are the ones who keep tab on all the progresses of every member in the club, how the meetings are going to run, who is doing the speeches, and so on. Membership and public relations, they are more of the trying to get new members. Clubs are always depending on getting more new members. This is an unfortunate fact, but up to 30% of the membership will turn over within a year. If it's a good club, then this number is smaller. If a club has difficulty, this number actually will go higher. So keep on looking for new members wherever you are, friends, neighbors, co-workers, bring them to do that. Okay, now I've got the green light, that means there's time for another handout. This is the Distinguished Club Program. This is the way how Toastmasters International keeps tab on individual clubs. This is a program that has 10 points. And clubs can earn these 10 points by doing certain things. The first 6 is educational awards, the next 2 is about growing membership, and the final 2 is about the club's organization. And you would think, so how does the role of officers play into this Distinguished Club program? Well, very easily, because each individual officer is directly responsible for at least 1 point in the DCP. Very likely the most active members in the club are the officers, so they are the likely members who are going to achieve educational goals, either completing their CC manuals, CL manuals, or advanced communication levels. In addition to that, the president will set the tone. Okay, we as a club, we have to train our officers, everybody has to go to training. So for training, twice a year, winter and summertime, club is going to get a DCP point for participating in training. At least 4 of the 7 officers need to go. So that's presidential leadership. The other one is primarily on the secretary and the treasurer to get the dues in and file the officer list. Officer list is a tricky one because people would think that that's the last thing that they have to do because it goes in June, but it's actually the very first thing that they have to do. This is for the next year. So the officer list that is going to get submitted in June is for the upcoming Toastmaster. So the treasurer and the secretary, they are key in getting the dues and the dues paid on time, which is also a DCP point. This is number 10. Vice President of Membership and Vice President of Public Relations can do a great job, have open houses and get the new members in. And if you get 8 of them, you get 2 more DCP points. That would be 7 and 8. And then the first 6 is the educational part of the program, and Vice President of Education, along with all the officers involved, they would be urging all the members and everybody who is capable of doing more speeches, go ahead, sign up, do your things. So there are various levels. There is distinguished, select distinguished, and president distinguished, and that distinction exists at the club level, area level, division level, and also for the district. And whatever the club does can affect the entire food chain, line of command. And the worst thing that you can do as a club is to go out of existence, because that's a devastation that even the district cannot come out of. Now, as closing, I would like to share with you, it's got a 2-pager. This was a quiz that was handed out in 2008, fall conference. I was chair for the first time or experience Toastmasters who came to the conference the first time. They gave them something to keep them busy, to help to network with other Toastmasters. And see how many of these are you going to be able to answer. This is a take-home exam. And one of the good things is that I'm not going to provide the answers, so you will be able to find it hopefully easily. If not, I have my contact information on the top of this first page. You can complain that this is too hard, I couldn't figure it out. Give me the answers and I will do my best to give you the answers. So any questions before I sign?